gracias por estar con nosotros en su programa Café con Leche, la voz de los latinos en América. Estamos transmitiendo desde hermosa 1470 AM, 96.9 FM. Les habla Lilia Galindo y tengo conmigo en el teléfono a Michael Dutton. Él es mi co-host en Café con Leche ya por varios años. Good morning, Michael.
Good morning, buenos días.
Buenos días, how are you?
Information from my COVID test. At least I don't have it.
Yay! I'm so glad. Are you sure?
But I still got this cough and this sinus stuff from being back east in that humidity and heat.
Oh, it's so bad. Bueno, le pregunto cómo se siente. Dice que todavía no del todo bien, pero la buena noticia es que no tiene COVID, pero sí tiene ahí como resfriado severo. Acabo de regresar de un viaje y ya saben cómo así es la situación. Hey, Dr. Bowers was here with us. She's leaving in June the 30th. Is her last day. And do you know her? Did you have the opportunity to meet her and talk to her? Or
oh yeah, she's the new president of the CCEA, the California African American Educators, CCE organization. It's a state organization representing all African American and people of color in administration and education. And she is our state president.
Wow, I didn't know that. I wish I had. La doctora Bowers es ahora la nueva presidenta de una organización que se llama CASA, que es una organización de superintendentes y administradores de las escuelas afroamericanos que han estado activos. Do you know this organization made several vaccination events in the Antelope Valley, no?
Say again,
vaccination.
They were advances.
Yeah, they were organizing COVID vaccination events in the schools and for.
I believe so. Yes, I believe that was true and sponsored by Dr. Bowers. Yes,
that was really good. That was great. A big benefit for the Hispanic community and the African American community too, I suppose.
Right.
Bueno, pues, how is everything, Michael? How do you see things now with all the things that are happening? The children that were killed in Texas and so many issues happening. How do you feel? It's so depressive, no?
Well, I just feel devastated. It's terrible, and I'm fearful for our future because the legislature, the federal legislature, is working on some kind of legislation to address the problem, but I think they missed the mark because they talk about everything except getting the guns out of the hands of young people who shouldn't be having them. Mm-hmm. They have not prevented the sale of weapons to these young people. They only talk about treating victims and witnesses of atrocities and those kinds of things, when in fact the problem is somebody has a gun and they've shot some other people, and we haven't done anything to eliminate the possibility of those someones getting the guns.
Estamos platicando.
It's mind-boggling to me.
Estamos platicando de la situación, de todo lo que está pasando en este momento en el país y sobre todo, bueno, de las masacres estas que todavía están ocurriendo en este país y cómo, a pesar de que en el Congreso se está haciendo algo, es muy limitado porque no se limitan, por ejemplo, las armas de gran poder. Y las reformas que están pasando, pues muchos creemos que no son suficientes, pero por lo menos son un comienzo. And then the election, do you know, we had the election and now we have two districts for assembly. Now are the district, I think, 39 and 34. We used to be in the 36th all together, but now we are divided, and in my area is the 34, and Tom Black is the one of the candidates for that district, and another Republican. But since Democrats didn't take the time to go and vote in the in this primary election, then I believe that we are going to have two Republicans on the ballot, even though we are not now more Democrats.
Mm.
Did you see?
Yeah, that's yeah, bad news. And it's that's another mind-boggling thing. I can't imagine that people are sleeping cognitively. They're sleeping on these issues and don't see the connection between their vote and who legislates, makes the laws that involve how they live. They don't seem to be making the connection.
A Michael le preocupa, le estamos comentando cómo en la elección, pues otra vez muchísimas personas no votaron, por supuesto, y entonces lo que ha sucedido es que en el distrito de la Asamblea, que antes era un solo distrito, ahora se convirtió en dos, y bueno, ahora en lugar de tener un candidato demócrata y un candidato republicano, tenemos dos candidatos republicanos porque los que son demócratas no salieron a votar. Dice Michael que todavía no entiende cómo es que las personas no pueden hacer todavía la conexión entre lo que está pasando y las personas por las que votamos, porque ellas son las que van a decidir cómo se maneja todo en este país, y si no ponemos atención a eso, bueno, pues nunca vamos a tener los resultados que queremos. Así es que imagínense nada más. Well, what do you want to say, Michael? I always ask you, but I don't let you talk. What do you want to say?
Well, I was just thinking about this whole situation that we're in and these terrible children who got murdered in San Antonio and the reaction of the authorities, the police at that particular location was just appalling. They're waiting for backup while kids are being shot.
So sad.
They're waiting for secondary reinforcements to come in before they do anything, or before they did anything. They actually didn't do anything. It was some immigration officers that went in there and actually put this guy down. And that's just it's just appalling. It's just appalling. I just can't quite understand that. You know, we had a situation in the high school district, which was ultimately blamed on me by another school board member, but that was just crazy. Mm-hmm. But this, was a young man who came on campus with a gun, and he did injure somebody. But our school deputies was on the scene and dealing with the situation within 3 minutes.
Wow, that is really...
within 3 minutes. But in this situation here in Texas, it was a long time, and the authorities never did. The ones who should have gone in there never did. Just amazing. And the school police had radios that didn't work inside the building. That's crazy. They were situations where, the situation was that they heard the shooting going on, and they were calling for backup before they would go in there. It was like, if you've got a shooter on campus, the police officers are trained and actually expected to go in there and put the guy down. You go in there and suppress. And they weren't going in, they weren't suppressing, they were waiting. And see, there were kids who died who could possibly have been saved, but they bled out because the authorities just waited.
Estamos hablando.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to translate. Estamos hablando de la situación en Texas. Dice que él no puede comprender, como muchos de nosotros, de por qué la policía se tardó tantísimo en atender a esa emergencia cuando sabían que había tantos niños adentro y había tanta fuerza de la policía disponible afuera. Dice, hubo un incidente aquí en el Valle del Antílope cuando yo era miembro de la mesa directiva del Antelope Valley Union High School District, cuando hubo una persona que se metió con una pistola e hirió a uno, pero dice, pero en 3 minutos ya teníamos ahí al oficial encargado respondiendo a la situación. Y aquí pasó muchísimo tiempo y los niños estaban ahí sin atención y no podemos entender qué fue lo que pasó. And I believe that they don't release any information, eh? They just try to cover wherever it happened.
Yeah, they were trying to cover it up, and then I was listening to a report where a mother went in there and they tried to stop her, and then they tried to penalize her for going in, but she went in there, got her kids out, and took them out of school.
Oh, I'm so glad.
Well, yeah, I mean, that wasn't the safest thing in the world to do, but she was worried about her babies, and went past the police who were supposed to be there protecting them, and she went in there and got her kids and took them out. Well, it should never have gotten to that point for her to get that exasperated and frustrated with the authorities and what they weren't doing, because they should have been in there taking action. And so, there's a whole litany of things that need to be addressed in that regard. But the number one thing is that you got this guy, he's 18, 19 years old. As soon as he turned old enough to buy the weapon, he went and bought it and went to school and shot people up. And that was after he shot his grandmother in the face. So it's like, what in the heck is going on? How can somebody that young, that inexperienced, that untrained go to a store and buy a gun to do that? That's just beyond belief to me.
Bueno, estamos hablando de la situación en Texas y dice cómo ocurrió la situación en Texas y dice que él vio en un reportaje de televisión como una madre que tenía a sus hijos ahí, pues decidió rescatarlos ella por sí misma, dice, poniéndose en peligro porque eso no se debe de hacer, pero los trajo para afuera y los salvó, no sabe qué hubiera pasado, ¿no? Pero dice, ¿cómo es posible que no se haga nada todavía en esto del control de las armas cuando se está viendo un muchacho que apenas acabó de cumplir los 18 años, se fue a comprar una arma primero mató a su abuela y luego se fue a la escuela a provocar esa masacre tan terrible? Tuvo que venir los oficiales de inmigración, intervenir y darle un tiro para acabar con esa situación, pero todavía no sabemos nada, ni se está cubriendo todo el asunto. No sabemos hasta cuándo, pero queremos saber la verdad y sobre todo darnos cuenta del riesgo que existe con este tipo de armas. Michael, we are going to take a break and we will be back.
Okay.
El abogado Ángelo Campano